Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/surviving infidelity, where we have proof that time really does heal a broken heart. Let's begin. Update. It got better 1 year later. Posted by Reddit user HellWolfKeats. My ex-wife left me a year and a half ago for a guy who was married to her high school best friend. Some friend she turned out to be, right? We have been married for 20 years and had what I thought were 2 children together. I recently found out that my 6-year-old daughter isn't mine. She is his. She knew this from day one of being pregnant and kept it from me. And it's my name on the birth certificate, and I do intend to fight for custody, as this has been my daughter and the certificate is a legally binding document. She may not be blood, but that is my daughter. Clearly, this affair has been going on for some time. Finding out was a kick in the teeth. When I asked her if it's him or me, she said it's him. Why? Because he can get it right back up after sex and go again. That's the only reason. Sex. Forget the fact that I worked 2 jobs to put her through school and continued to do so she could stay home and raise our kids and cheat on me. I gave up pursuing my dreams, a music career for her, so that she could pursue hers and have a family. They have been the number one thing in my life. My ex had always been a cold woman. She's bipolar and life wasn't always easy. Her outbursts and physical and emotional abuse were soul-crushing, but I endured it because I thought she couldn't help it. Turns out, that wasn't entirely true. She admitted to friends that she often punched me because she felt like it or wasn't getting her way. My kids had to witness on several occasions her striking and verbally abusing me, and each time I took it without fighting back, and hating my kids had to witness this. At one point, towards the end, she was angry at me for not taking out the trash the moment I came home, and grabbed me by the neck and started squeezing, while my son stood horrified watching. I told her, our son will always remember this, and she let me go. I should have left long ago. I know this now. I'd like to think that if not for my children, I would have, but I didn't want them to have a broken home and held on to the hope that someday my wife would go back to being the woman I fell in love with. I know now that those days are dead and gone and had been for years. After everything came to light, my wife sat me down with her friend whose husband she was cheating with and told her point blank, "Yes, it's true. No, I'm not sorry." And then my wife got up and walked away. I was told this by her friend. My wife left, took the kids, and moved in with him in an apartment behind the one we shared. Even then, I held on to the hope that she would see the grass wasn't greener with him. He had cheated on his own wife several times besides with my wife, and she knows this. I waited that entire first year waiting for her to come back. She kept the apartment keys, and I assumed that she was still holding on to them because she knew she would come home. But at the end of that year, they began their cruelty again with him constantly dropping by the bus stop as I was putting the kids on the bus for school and telling me, "I've come to see my daughter off to school, not your daughter, mine." I told him, "Then why were you so content for the first 5 years to let me raise her? Her to have my last name, let me be there at her birth and raise her as mine. Where were you? Why is my name on the certificate as her father instead of yours?" That almost earned me a punch in the face, and it did earn me a drunken visit by both of them at the end of the night because he showed up to fight. My ex then decided to make everything public, going on Facebook and bragging about her new boyfriend. Our friends were shocked and reached out to me and his wife about it. I made sure to grab all of the screenshots I could. She doesn't seem to care about the hole she's dug for herself with our upcoming divorce. Then again, why would she? I already got her with the paternity test. At the end, I became self-destructive. I kept wondering what could I've done differently or better. She blamed me for not being around for her. But if I wasn't working 2 jobs, how could we have survived? I didn't clean when I got home because I was too tired, and she's screaming at me about trash when our kids have colored all of the walls, tore down the blinds, put holes in the wall under her watch, but the not taking out the trash after working 16 hours was a problem. The worst part was that I wanted my family back so badly. I was believing it was my fault. It took a while to see the truth of it all, but all of that changed with my brother. He was determined to get me to play in his band. And even though I declined, he insisted that I at least meet the members and decide then. That changed everything for me. I still declined, but I struck a friendship with them and ended up casually dating a friend that the rhythm guitarist introduced to me. I quickly fell in love with this woman, and it was a relief to be in a loving relationship with someone that wasn't a 24/7 screaming match that usually ended with me getting hit. Now, throughout this time, as I've stated, my ex still had keys to our apartment. She would occasionally let herself in and drop off stuff for the kids. The first time she let herself in and my new girlfriend was there, did not go well. She called me that night asking me who she was and why was she in our apartment. I enjoyed telling my ex that that was my girlfriend and she was none of her business. She moved on and left me and was living with someone else. The last few months, my ex has become erratic over my new girlfriend and has begun to stalk her. My ex had sent my girlfriend a Facebook friend request and demanded my girlfriend to accept it. When my girlfriend refused, my ex called me, screaming that I need to tell her to accept it because she needs to see the kind of person my girlfriend is, that I'm having our kids around. My girlfriend grabbed the phone from me and told her that she does not need to add her as a friend. Anything involving communication about the kids can be done through Messenger or through phone calls. That my ex does not and will not have access to our private life, friends, and family because she is not part of my girlfriend's personal life. This didn't sit well with my ex. My girlfriend showed me the sudden burst of friend requests she got from people that had my ex as a friend. My ex then started letting herself into my place every weekend and when I wasn't home at work to snoop around. I was on the phone with my girlfriend who was staying with me while I was at work to hear my ex walk in and my girlfriend asked her if there was something she needed. My ex claimed that she wanted to see how much milk I had in my fridge for when the kids came over. My girlfriend told her we had it handled and my ex left. When I got home, I demanded the apartment keys since she's not living there. She then took my son's keys and made copies for herself. When my lease was up, my girlfriend asked me to move in with her so that we could distance ourselves from my ex. My ex did everything she could to hinder this, calling the police and telling them I was leaving with her belongings, and when asked what was hers, she couldn't name anything in my place that was left that was hers. Now we get the kids every other weekend, and I was told by my children that they are not allowed to talk about what they did with me because she doesn't want to hear it. That didn't last long. Now she pumps my kids for all of the information she can get. I'm sure it's jealousy. We live on the beach. My girlfriend is very well off, and when we get the kids, we take a short walk to the boardwalk to ride rides, let them play on the beach, or visit the aquarium. If they return home with prizes, my ex throws them away. Now the issue with my ex was the last few times he dropped off the kids. I noticed she now dresses and looks very similar to my girlfriend. She dyed her hair and cut her to match hers. My ex runs out the following week and tries to do the same thing with them. If we got to the beach, she takes them to the beach. If we go to the zoo, she takes them to the zoo. If she finds out what we had with them for dinner, she has to make the same thing and demands our kids to tell her whose they like more. Last week, my son asked to live with us because he said my ex was crazy. You better believe I'm using all of this in court. Just when I think things couldn't get any crazier with her, the other night, she starts texting me nudes. What the hell? My girlfriend was sitting next to me when they started coming in, and I immediately got defensive and told my girlfriend I didn't ask for them, and that my ex and I aren't talking like that. I offered her my phone to go through to see for herself. My girlfriend looked at the pictures and asked for my ex's number so she could text my ex her own nudes back so that she could show her how it's done. I called my ex and asked her what the hell she was doing. I told her that my girlfriend was sitting next to me and saw the messages and is pissed off. My ex tried saying she meant to send them to someone else. My girlfriend said to her that my name was on one end of the alphabet while her boyfriend was on the other. Then she asked her who's the new guy since it was meant for someone else. My ex hung up. I really don't know what game my ex is playing. This is all just crazy to me. Let me just clear up a few things because the comments keep coming back that as if I'm still living there. 1. My girlfriend did not send her nudes in return. That was just her verbal response to what my ex has done, saying that she should show her how it's done because the pictures were of my ex with her shirt off making duck faces at a mirror with her phone in hand. My girlfriend simply made a joke in regards to my ex's lack of imagination. 2. I do not live in my old apartment that I shared with my wife before. I have moved in with my girlfriend because despite me taking the keys back from my ex, she took my son's keys and used those to keep breaking in. She does not have access to my new place and my kids don't even have keys for this reason. 3. I'm currently fighting for custody of my kids and it's not easy with me not being the biological father of my daughter. But I'm fighting based on the birth certificate having me listed as the father, which give me parental rights to my daughter. 4. My ex have prescribed meds, but I'm having serious doubts if she's taken them. 5. I check my kids for bruises and make sure that they are not being abused. But she made the mistake of getting physical on her boyfriend and he punched a hole in the wall and let her know if she raises a fist on him again, he's fighting back. And now for OP's first update. Just an update, but I have to shake my head at this. Saturday night, I received an angry text from my ex saying that she hopes I'm fucking happy that I won. I know I shouldn't have engaged in this conversation, but I asked her what was the problem. She answered with a response that made no sense and then proceeded to tell me to go ahead and gloat. Gloat times 10 because something happened to her and then she proceeds to accuse me of being in on it. I asked what I'm supposedly in on. Instead of a direct answer, she went off on me about how all men are pigs and can't be trusted. From this, I gathered 2 things. 1, she's drunk off of her ass again. 2, the asshole she left me for cheated on her. I didn't say anything. When she's like that, any response is a fight and I chose not to get into it. I just read the text and thought that she got exactly what was coming for her. She left me for my friend who was married and has cheated on his wife 3 times, with her being number 3. And when I brought this up as she was leaving me, she told me I know what I'm getting into. I guess she thought she was the end-all to his wayward ways. When she ran out of insults to fling at me, she shifted back her attack to my girlfriend, telling me she's ugly as fuck and I could have had any girl, but I chose someone ugly to replace her with. My girlfriend is stunning both inside and out. My ex is also extremely jealous of my new girlfriend, and as I've mentioned in my older post, my ex had taken to stalking my girlfriend and trying to change her appearance to look like her. The attack continued with my ex telling me that I don't really love my new girlfriend, and it's impossible for me to fall in love with the first woman I fucked after losing her. My ex and I had been apart for a year when I met my now girlfriend. It took some time for me to feel comfortable trusting someone again, and that trust was earned and not given so easily. She then followed up by claiming that I only love her because I lost my apartment and I'm kissing my girlfriend's ass for a place to live. As she so interestingly put it, it's only love when you're homeless. I had my own apartment across the street from my ex-wife because she decided to stay in the complex to flaunt the fact she left me for my friend in my face every waking minute. When my lease was up, I decided to move in with my girlfriend and relocate my job there. I know she was trying to provoke a fight. I just wasn't giving it to her. When I thought my ex's attacks couldn't get any more stupid and childish, she proceeded to tell me that she's sorry she wasn't enough for me. I wanted so badly to call her at that moment and scream it was me that wasn't good enough for her. She left me, or did she fucking forget which one of us walked out the door and which one of us walked out the door, replacing the other person with someone else? She left me for a married guy that has cheated repeatedly on his wife. Real fucking winner there. She then went on the attack on my girlfriend again, saying that we both know that she, my ex, was who I wanted to be with, that my girlfriend couldn't compete or hold a candle to her. At that point, I had enough and asked her to contact me when she's better and sober and turn my phone off. Hours later, when my girlfriend comes home, she asked me what was wrong. I warned her that she was going to get mad, and I handed her my phone and told her to read it for herself. She read it and just laughed her ass off and handed me my phone back and said, "Looks like he cheated." I said it seemed that way and proceeded to try to reassure her, thinking the ugly comments might make her question me. They didn't even faze her. She told me that my ex's narcissist ways really come out full-blown when she's drunk, and bet that my ex was upset that she couldn't come to me for a revenge fuck to get back at him. I have yet to hear anything else from my ex. My guess is, as usual, the next day, she looked back at those texts and saw what she did and feels stupid. I'm also betting she's back with him because she can't stand to be alone. And now for OP's second update. As of my last update, my ex got cheated on by the guy she left me for. As predicted, they got back together 3 days later. I expected that. She has no one to fall back on and now she's stuck with him. For the most part, ever since that last incident, I haven't heard anything from her outside signing a few documents for our divorce and communications about the kids, and I'm thankful for that. But I know it won't last long before she gets drunk and I get sent another drunken, "You're the ultimate jerk-off" rant. Halloween. My band was asked to perform at an event one of my friends set up every year. I've been doing it for a few years and it's a tradition. My ex used to attend with me. She didn't last year because that's the year I found out that she was sleeping with my best friend and that my now 6-year-old daughter was actually his. She wasn't invited, but she showed up anyway with her boyfriend that she left me for and who cheated on her and my kids. I was furious. Kids are not welcome at these parties as they are adults only and she knows this. And I strongly believe that she showed up with them in an attempt to get me thrown out. Security kept telling her she couldn't come in and she stood there fighting, saying that the kids wanted to see their father play. I've got security telling me that I need to get them out of there and her screaming at me that I'm putting a party over my kids. My friend who was throwing the party came down and told her that she could stay and watch me do 2 songs, but then she would have to leave, and if she refused, he's calling the police. I told my friend not to cater to her, and he told me he was only doing it for my kids. I was on stage, and I was privy to what was happening around the party, but I was clued in on it when I was between sets. Some of what I found out was that my ex tried clashing with my girlfriend, and that didn't end well for her. My girlfriend put her in her place and called her out on using the kids to play games. This had been witnessed by many people, and when I walked off stage, I had several people telling me and pointing to where they were. When I got there, whatever fight they had has been over, and my ex has been staring daggers at my girlfriend from far across the room. My daughter humiliated my ex by loudly telling everyone there that she has 2 daddies, me and her mommy's boyfriend who is actually her real daddy. That further humiliated my ex, as she said thanks for making me sound like trash, and she ended up leaving after that. But my son refused to go with her and fought to stay with me. My ex had her boyfriend find my girlfriend to ask if she would keep an eye on him, and she agreed and worked it out with my friend to keep my son glued to her side for the rest of the party, and we took him home the following night. My nerves were shot to hell the whole night. I must have apologized to my friend, my girlfriend, and my son 1,000 times that night for putting them in the middle of it. I mess up every song because I kept searching the crowd to see where they were and what was happening, worrying that a physical fight might break out between the 2 of them. I didn't know until after I was off stage that she had took off and left my son behind. When I took my son home the next night, she made it a point to not be there. I was told by her boyfriend that she knew I was coming to drop off my son, and she wanted to avoid a confrontation about what has happened. He apologized to me about it all and tried talking to me about her and how she's been acting. I told him I'm not getting into it with him, and I left. I get a phone call later that night from my son that they are fighting very badly over me. Her boyfriend got tired of the crap she's been pulling and accused her of not being over me. He apparently asked her what is it that bothers her most, that I moved on and she can't crawl back to me? Or is it if she hadn't left me when she did it for him, that I would have eventually left her for my girlfriend? According to my son, that was what started it. I could hear them screaming in the background and ask him if he needed me to come get him. He told me no. I talked to him until it died down. So that's what's going on with me right now. Still going through the divorce, still moving forward. I just no longer look back at what I lost. I just need to get my kids out of there. And yes, I'm still fighting to do that. And now for OP's 3rd update. It was today that it officially ended, that we sat on the Zoom court call and ended it all. I went through it in a haze because I thought of this day a million times over the last year, and here I was and it was happening. It took 5 minutes to end, only 5. Neither of us were contesting it. She wasn't asking for anything, not that she could. Paternity test let me know what was what. Just a couple of quick questions that were mostly not asked of me. I was asked if there was a chance to save the marriage. No. I was asked if I wanted to proceed with the divorce today. Yes. It amused me how they asked her if there were any domestic issues or abuse, and she said no. I wasn't asked that at all. I found that interesting. I got hit plenty. It wasn't even an issue. I guess in the end, that didn't matter, because the end would be the same. It's over. All that's left is family court for custody of the kids, and with what's going on right now, it's leaning more and more in my favor. She waited exactly 5 minutes from the end of court to post it all over Facebook. I know this because my phone blew up with screenshots from my friends telling me about it. She made mention about how divorce is hard, but we need to set a good example for our kids. She even tagged me, which was a mistake. My friends got on her about how it would have set a better example for the kids by not immediately going to social media for attention and likes. I guess I can't say shit about that. I'm here telling a bunch of strangers. But I waited several hours and none of you know me personally. But it's over. But I'm not entirely sure how should I be feeling. I feel blank. And now for OP's 4th update. It's been a while since I've said anything, and I thank everyone for reaching out to me. I've just been in a mood with everything going on and not up for updating. My divorce was finalized last month, so that is one obstacle down. For the most part, it was a good Christmas, with the exception of my ex losing her job and the affair partner she moved in with her is not making enough to make ends meet, and came to me for help with the kids. I wanted to tell her to kick rocks, since she waited 3 days before Christmas to tell me, and me and my girlfriend went scrambling to find suitable gifts with stores picked cleaned. Before anyone tells me, I shouldn't have done a thing and let my kids see her for the trash she really is. I wanted to. I almost did. But I can't do that to my kids on Christmas, and I told her that this was a one-time help. I won't help her again. When she came to get the presents, she asked to come in to see where the kids slept. When I said that it wasn't a good idea, she told me it wasn't a request, that she needed to, and it was her right to. When she tried stepping around me, my girlfriend was in her face, telling her that she is not stepping foot in her house, and if she's got some concerns, make some calls, but my ex will never be allowed in my girlfriend's house. My ex backed down, and I spent the rest of the night calming down my girlfriend from wanting to tear the face off my ex. The best way I can explain this: my girlfriend has my ex completely locked out. My ex tries, fails miserably, and screams to whomever will listen that it's unfair she's cut out when the kids are with me. Our life is none of her business and doesn't involve her. And my girlfriend has made it loud and clear my ex has no place in our lives. Maybe I'm an asshole for this, but I let my girlfriend take the reins in this situation. She's immune to my ex and better at calling out the bullshit than I am. Where my ex will challenge me and try manipulating me to bend, my girlfriend is an unmovable rock. My ex hasn't tried playing any games since then. I got my kids in therapy. Things have escalated with them. We put a camera in the living room, which has been catching a lot of my daughter's lies. A lot of her punching my son and screaming that he hit her when he didn't. We've confronted her on this, and she's starting to learn that the lies aren't working here. My son is frustrated at how long court is taking and is having issues not being able to live with me full time. He's very bonded to my girlfriend, so I have no worries there. They don't clash or butt heads, that's a relief, but he's acting out at his mother. He's screaming, punching walls, and arguing. I know he wants out of there, and I'm doing what I can to make that happen. I know it will happen. All that aside, I have a new problem with my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend suddenly stalking her, which hilariously was brought up to my attention by a different ex-boyfriend of hers, my bandmate who was the one who introduced me to her. This guy went crazy the other night at being told by the other ex that she's happy, she's moved on, and he needs to let go and find someone new. His response to that was crash his car into a guardrail, trying to send himself to the shadow realm. So much crazy in my life. I don't know if I should laugh, cry, or sell tickets. So that's what's new with me. And now for OP's 5th update. D-Day was 2 years ago. Divorce was finalized 4 months ago. She's still with the affair partner and I moved on a year ago. For the most part, my life is so much better without her. Here it is, 2 years later and I'm still finding stuff out. There was another friend of mine that she slept with before the affair partner. I wish I could say that didn't sting a little, but it did. It just increased the timeline for how long I was a fool. So I missed the signs twice. I know my daughter isn't mine. Now I'm wondering if my son is. He doesn't look like me. None of his features are mine. Not all of his features are hers either. As much as I wonder also if I really want to know. I don't think I can take that blow a second time. Ignorance is bliss, right? I try to put as much of her behind me as possible. It's difficult when kids are involved because I'm stuck co-parenting until they're 18. I tried to go without gray rock. I wanted to show the kids that we could come together for them. Interesting how the guilty ones are always on the attack and constantly trying to blame shift even after all is said and done. Even more interesting how she thought she could still control me and call all of the shots. When I didn't give in, she still lashed out and attacked me. She tried her tactics on my girlfriend, and long story short, she's learned to stay clear of her. My girlfriend is a force to be reckoned with, and dealing with sociopathic narcissists isn't her first rodeo. I know that in the end, I came out on top. I have a new life, a new job, a new home, and a new love. I'm doing far better than my ex, who is dealing with the repercussions of her actions. Not only did my ex destroy our life together, she ruined affair partners too, and his ex-wife is going above and beyond to make their lives a living hell. I'm sad to say that this affects my kids, as their lives there are turned upside down by that shit show. The affair partner's wife is the poster child for hell has no fury. She hit them hard financially, and my ex has come to me crying poor mouth a few times already. She lost her job 6 months ago and has yet to find work, choosing to live by her affair partner who is getting squeezed dry by his ex. I don't feel bad about that at all. I just hate what it's putting my kids through. I do what I can for my kids, but for my kids only. I won't give money, but I will take over what they need. I'm not giving her the chance to go drinking with my money because that's who she is and part of the reason she was fired. Yes, I'm working on fighting for custody for my kids, even the one that isn't mine. I need to get them away from her. My son has developed a deep resentment towards his mother. Her fault. She's the one who told him why we are divorcing. He knows his sister is the affair partners, and he makes sure everyone knows it. He told my girlfriend before I could. I was trying not to dump all of my issues on her. As a newly divorced father, I already had a lot of baggage and didn't want to overwhelm her. But my son is angry. On the bright side, his bond with my girlfriend is iron tight. That's his best friend. My daughter is her mother. She lies, she's manipulative, and reacts the same way when things don't go her way. She learned from the best. The cameras up in the house have been very useful at catching her in her lies. She likes to accuse people of being mean to her and loves accusing my son of hitting her. The camera shows her running up, hitting him, and screaming that he hit her. After we confronted her and showed her the video, she had a meltdown at being caught. Since then, she stopped accusing him of hitting her. Now we're catching her sneaking into things she's not supposed to, and playing one side against the other, saying that someone said she could have something when they didn't. And that's another thing. The cameras are up for my benefit under the guise of home security, but that's not all I'm using them for. If my daughter falls and gets a bruise, my ex is screaming child abuse. She has tried accusing my girlfriend of hurting my kids. The reality of it is that my daughter decided to dive off the couch, trying to make it to the chair before the floor was lava. So there I am, sending my ex the video, showing what happened, and us addressing the injury as it happened. That only went on for a few weeks before my ex finally got the picture that no one is hurting the kid, and we have proof for every bump and scratch. I know it sucks taking it to that level that I had to put up cameras, but I did. It brings me a peace of mind knowing my ex can't play that game against me. It also brings me a huge peace of mind when I'm at work and my girlfriend is home alone and I can check in to see what she's up to, reading a book, watching a movie, or playing video games online with my son or her little brother who is the same age as my son. Having the cameras helps me with my trust issues. And finally, for OP's update 1 year later. For a quick recap, my ex left me for my best friend and for 4 years have passed off their daughter as mine. My name is on the birth certificate, so I have parental rights. Chaos ensues. It's been a while since I've been here, since I've commented, shared, and participated. My story has certainly been a wild one. 3 years ago, my ex-wife left me for my married best friend and tore 2 families apart. 2 years ago, I thought I was ready to move on and ended up dragging my girlfriend into my personal hell and ended up putting her into situations and drama that you don't want to drag anyone into. Clashings with my ex, issues with my kids, and the wife of my ex-best friend using her kids to come after mine. I ended up dropping my girlfriend into my nightmare battleground and she took a lot of fire. You can't just move on, start over, and put it all behind you and be happy. That's the biggest lie you can tell yourself. The truth is, once you find new love, you have to fight for it. Ex-jealousy, doesn't matter if they left you or you left them, they're going to get jealous and petty. Kids competing for attention, mutual friends stirring the pot, and if there are two families involved in the infidelity, that's double the drama. There's a lot that you do and you don't see coming. We survived, thankfully, my girlfriend and I. I still feel guilty about it because I didn't feel like me or my baggage was worth holding on to. My ex issues cost both me and my girlfriend a lot. It would have been so much easier to say none of this was her problem and walk away. I wouldn't have blamed her, and every time something new would happen, I found myself bracing for it because no one should have had to go through all that she did. Luckily for me, she's stubborn and doesn't quit easily. It took a while for things to calm down to the point that they are now. That required my ex to lose a lot of battles, and she still plays her game here and there, but nothing on a catastrophic level anymore. That involved taking a lot of actions to minimize her attempts. Cameras. I can't stress that enough. Cameras in your home. My kids are clumsy. One trip on the rug resulting in a bruise on my daughter's chin, and my ex was screaming child abuse to all who would listen. Facebook posts of the injury saying how I was frustrated and struck my daughter, and people coming for my throat until I posted a video clip of my daughter tripping on the rug and me immediately picking her up and taking care of the injury. Needless to say, the child abuse post came down quick, and the phone calls and texts from my ex asking me to remove the video started just as fast. Naturally, I took a lot of screenshots of her post first before posting the video, and someone else was nice enough to do the same and post the screenshot in the comment section. That ended that. Having cameras, having my ex know that I have cameras in the house, ended a lot of her accusations. No one is hurting my kids. It also gave me a lot of peace of mind with my girlfriend, especially with the I saw her bring some guy into your house while you were at work Friday night. That's weird. I saw her on camera, playing Call of Duty with her brothers alone. It's been 3 years since D-Day and the divorce. 2 years since I moved on with someone else. My ex is still with her affair partner, and I recently asked my girlfriend to marry me, and we are now planning for that. My kids are getting along better. My daughter stopped her lying. Cameras are great for that too. And there are still some issues, but nothing as bad as before. I look forward to getting remarried. I believe that I am now with the right one. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.